Everybody ready except for me? Yeah. Calling to order the final meeting of council for 2023. We're here Monday, December the 11th. It's about 6:43. We're running a little bit late because at 6 or 10 after 6. We did our Youth and Citizens of the Year awards. Congratulations to Carrie Smale, Citizen of the Year, and Katie Morrison, our Youth Citizen. Our next item on our agenda is the approval of the agenda. Does anyone have any changes to our agenda? Hearing none, then I will ask Deputy Mayor to bring that motion forward.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself and second by Council Ward, the Municipality Council approves the agenda as presented.
All in favor? Okay, moving on to 3, which is disclosure of pecuniary interest or conflict of interest and the general nature thereof. Does anyone have any money? No declarations. Good. Delegations and presentations. We have none. We're on to number 5, which is consent agenda. So items listed under consent agenda are considered routine and no longer require a further discussion or enacted in one motion. The exception to this rule is a member may request that one or more items be pulled for discussion and voted on separately. Does anyone have one of those 3 items that they would like pulled?
No, I'm good. Because it was just a discussion. And it's coming back to the table. We'll launch them.
Okay, all right. So then, Councilor Ward, I believe you have that item.
I do. Moved by myself and seconded by Councilor Waddy-Smale that the municipal council receives and approves the following consent agenda items as presented. A, regular council, November 27th, 2023. Public library, October 24th, 2023. And committee of the whole administration operations, December 4th, 2023.
Comments, questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Good, so then I'll just ask the clerk, but I believe we're on to 9A then, am I correct? Okay. So the application for severance for 3302 Glens Mill Road, in brackets Ryan and Councilor Martel, I think you have that.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Waddy-Smale. The municipal council recommends in favor of severance application D-134-233302 Glens Mill Road Ryan, as recommended by the committee of the whole administration and operations.
You're welcome. Hey, just trying to catch up as to what page we're on. Does anybody have any idea of what page we're on?
28. 29.
So moved and seconded. Are there comments, questions, further or discussion on the severance? Place, then I'm going to call a vote. And all in favor? Yes, 9A is done. Now I asked pre-meeting when we were sent out consent if I wanted to remove anything. I removed items B, C, and D just because the deputy mayor was not present for that meeting, and I felt if you wanted to have any conversation, I know we've discussed them very thoroughly, but if I wanted to give them the opportunity. So 9B, I believe Councilor Ward, you have that? Can we bring it forward?
Sure. Moved by myself and seconded by Councilor Waddy-Smale that municipal council 1 approves the purchase of the operating salary capital budgeting software from Public Sector Digest for use in 2024 in the amount of $69,100 plus non-rebated HST and fund this purchase with modernization funding, and authorize the treasurer to enter an agreement with Public Sector Digest to purchase the operating salary and capital budgeting software for use in 2024 and 3 annual maintenance costs of $9,700 to be funded through the Department of Operating Budget as recommended by the Committee of the Whole Administration Operations.
Thank you. Further comments? Anyone?
No, I'm good.
Okay, I will call the question then, all in favor? Good. Looking forward to the operational efficiencies and I guess the clearer picture that the budget software will be portraying. Good. All right, so Councilor Martel, I believe you have item C, which is 2024 cost of living adjustment approval. Bring that forward.
Moved by myself, second by Councilor White Smale, that municipal council approved the 2024 COLA increase of 4.93% for all union and non-union staff effective January 1st, 2024, as recommended by the Committee of the Whole Administration and Operations.
All right, further discussion to the cost of living adjustments.
So is this how we arrived at 4.93%? Built in cost of living. We had no choice on that.
So
To the treasurer.
Through the chair to the deputy mayor. Yes, the 4.93 is the owner's cost of living pension adjustment, which is how our policy currently states. And in the union contract for that local union states that it was 1.75 or COLA, whichever is higher.
Whichever is higher,
Whichever is higher. So
cost of living is 4.93.
correct.
You answered my question.
Thank you.
Now, is that, to the chair, to the chair, is that continued, well, 2024, the contract expires, is that right?
That's correct.
So this would be the last of the cost of living, possibility,
So, for
for this term.
the contract agreement, the one that's also expires on December 31st.
2024, so, and this is for 2024.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and well, I mean, COLA was negotiated collective bargaining for union, and it, in theory, is usually what we do for non-union staff as well. Last year we chose to do something different, and it's always
Not taking anything.
Okay, further comments or questions? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. All in favor of the COLA increase? Okay, that's done. All right, so item D, which is the unmetered residential customers and assessment results. For in partner for the connection to the water users. So Councilor Ward, I believe you have that.
I do. Moved by myself, seconded by Councilor White Smale. The municipal council directs staff to, one, transfer properties who actively refuse to participate in the inspections to category B rates until such time as they permit inspection. Once inspected, either transfer back to category A rates or install a water meter depending on inspection results. And two, properties that require excessive renovations or relocation of plumbing remain on category A rates. And three, install water meters at locations deemed not to be too expensive or difficult to install and fund the project to the current water system, as recommended by the Committee of the Whole Administration.
Thank you. Okay. Really good, long, thorough discussion went through item by item with Mr. Wentman during the meeting. I did ask for this one, the deputy, to be brought back in case you did have any comments or wanted to add anything to the discussion or thought of something that we didn't get to during that discussion. So
I just want to get that first.
okay, good. Anyone else want to discuss it further at this point? I think we have commented and what the motion reads. Yes, everybody on the page, okay, great, then I'm gonna call the question, all in favor? We are on to item E, which is proposed road allowance request, 95 Fern Road, Councilor Martel.
Excuse me, moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Wallace Smale, that municipal council directs staff to prepare a bylaw to authorize the transfer of the proposed road described in bylaw 84-20 to the property owner of 94 Prune Road, as recommended by the Committee of the Whole Administration and Operation.
Thank you.
Okay, closing, it's sort of a complex old. Was it back to the 1980s, if I'm not mistaken, on this item? And this will just clean up what was done back then. Correct?
So it will eventually, clean everything up.
It's not just, yeah, right.
Yeah, it's not as straightforward as we originally anticipated.
Yeah, there's still a little work to do. So, yeah, okay. But this is one of the first steps. All right, further discussion or comments, questions? Is everybody comfortable? Yeah. 1994. 30 years ago. All right, we're gonna call the question on favor. All right, MTO EV Charge Ontario program, Councilor Ward, you got.
Moved by myself and seconded by Councilor Waddy Smale, that municipal council authorize the mayor and CEO to execute the memorandum of understanding with eCameo Incorporated and direct staff to submit necessary documents to support application submission under the MTO EV charge program for each selected location.
And eCanyon Incorporated is the company that represents its Jewel, right? That was the corporation that we had our discussion with. I read, through the package, and I certainly agree that supporting their solution is a fantastic way to move forward. So, are there further comments or questions before? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just, like to confirm that if we give these people the authorization, what about St. Lawrence Electrical? I thought they were going to get into the game of doing this. This interrupt that if they come to us, or how's that work? To the chair, to the CEO.
So through the mayor, the RS proposal is presented in the action item. That was part of the package. So there will be nothing to project. Working to the department at a different time. I would certainly say it could have been some same sites for Jewel and in comparison, recommended very
But maybe St. Lawrence to the chair. Just maybe St. Lawrence will come back with the same thing. No capital expense.
I think through the mayor, they come back at that point, something that we can certainly bring to council.
I just don't want to shut the door on St. Lawrence.
I don't see it as shutting the door.
Thank you. That's all.
So, yeah, certainly we've talked about, catching up to the EV revolution, like it or not, it's coming. We are You know, we talk about our location over and over and over, how fantastic our location is for development of business. We understand, you know, we're on the 416 and the 401 with, you know, two major bridges and major cities all around us. We certainly will be a place for people to stop, and it's, in my opinion, it's long overdue. And any support that we can give, and in this case, it's really just a letter of support. They need very little from us at all. Certainly willing to go along that route, and by all means, I would support as well if Rideau St. Lawrence came forward and wanted to do something similar. But this one to me is absolutely easy to support. So, is there further discussion, Mr. Mayor? Yes.
Just through you to the CEO, just to confirm, we are supporting the letter. We're not making any commitment to Jewel that we're going to place these at our facilities.
So, through there. We are entering into an MOU for, as part of that submission. If there's funding received, it would be hopefully a parking lot agreement outlining more specific terms and conditions that both parties would need to enter into.
Just gets involved.
So we're not committed to saying yes, we can still say no at some point.
Certainly, it is not, it's not much.
Through the chair, I've spoken with some of the people that hired me for this job, and there are some reservations. Yeah, I think everyone is on board with the DVDs and such. I'm not convinced that municipal properties are suitable to take the role in, you know, being part of the supply chain. There's lots of hardware stores and convenience stores and parking lots out there. I am all for the, you know, the green thing. I'll be very excited to see these popping up in the community, but I'm just not sure that's our role. Our role is ditches and, you know, roads and recreation. The other thing is we're setting a precedent here for, you know, if we're gonna let one company, when somebody comes in next year and says, hey, I've got a food truck, I want to park it here for $100 a month. Can I have a spot? We set a precedent. Can we tell them no?
I think it's a different situation altogether.
Perhaps, what if it's somebody with a trailer that wants to, you know, promote solar panels? You know, set the trailer in the parking lot and want to do a couple $100 a spot. I just don't see this as being our role. I think that this is, you know, we never sold gasoline anywhere. Our vessel came to us tomorrow and said, hey, can I put a couple of big tanks in and a gas pump with the arena? I'm very doubtful. We'd say, yeah, that's a great idea. We would say, no, that's a great idea, but take that to the business community, not us. Rant over.
I thank you for your comments, Councilor Martell, and I understand what we have in front of us though is a company that wants to partner with our township so that we can move the interests of our township forward. It's not restrictive in any way of any other business from hosting or making partnership with anybody else and applying for the very same money that's available till the end of January. You know, I encourage, you know, if there's an individual business that you're talking about, maybe they can reach out to these folks and offer to partner with them as well. This is following the lead and trying to catch up with many other municipalities across Ontario that have already taken steps much like this. Like for me, this is easy to write a letter of support for sure.
No, to the chair. I mean, you know, the preference I have on this one versus the Arizona one is that, you know, I think that we have a role which is not necessarily managing a business like this as well, which is where, you know, I was feeling that we were going to be too much involved in the other way. So we'll see what happens if they come back to us with something else before they do it. But you know, I think we had lots of good chat about the Jewel proposal last week, and I just think it's a good thing to get the availability here. If the free market then eventually decides that Jewel moves them down the road with a hardware store, that could be something that comes along eventually down the road.
Yeah. But nobody's stepped up to do it. It's time to move forward, or this is the proposal we have from somebody else. Okay, is there further discussion? Oh, good. Okay. I'm gonna call the question. All in favor? Okay, it's carried. Against? You're against?
Yes.
Item G, which is Prescott Family Health Team Sponsorship Request. Deputy Mayor Littlefield, you have item critical.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, moved by myself and second by Council Ward, that this Pelham Council receives and requests a letter that the letter be considered with the 2024 community grants and donation programs.
Alright, so we've all had a chance to read the letter from the family health team where we contributed last year towards their health and wellness event. This, I'm just going to look to staff or just so that I'm clear on this, because I'm not 100% sure what the funding request was. It indicates what it was last year, and I'm not really. Is it asking for the same amount this year as last year?
Through I would say that is the same as last year.
Right, they recognize how big a difference the donation did last year was, but maybe I missed it when I read it, but I couldn't.
I would say that it's not a specific request included within.
Okay, all right, I just want to make sure I read it.
Correspondence, we had which is sponsored.
Right, so we sponsored to $1,000 last year, but what we're doing out of this is we're receiving the request letter, and that letter be considered with the community grants and donations program when we do that in which month? Refresh me.
Student share will be March and presented to the state health committee for consideration. We'll follow up with Jenny to get a little bit more wholesome.
And what exactly the ask actually, what it is? That's a cool. Health and wellness. Okay, so we're not deferring anything. We're receiving a letter and we're telling them that we're going to consider it in the community grants and donations program, like all of the other requests that we get. And if it happens, if their request happens to be above, what is the number 2,000? They have to come make a presentation, correct? Okay, all right, so everybody's clear then in what we're doing. We're not actually granting a donation here. All we're doing is receiving the request letter and we're referring them to the 2024 community grants and donations program, which will be a really fun discussion near the end of March. Everybody's good to agree with that? Yeah, we're good. I just want to be crystal clear on what I'm doing. Good. All right, now I'm going to call the question. If there's no,
That's right, I had comments. So I still don't understand, I mean, and maybe it's because we started late last year, but I don't think so. Because we haven't had any, so why did this even come to us? That's what I don't understand, because nobody else came to us last year and said, hey, we want to be considered for the program. There's something special about this one. No, they all came in, they all came for April, sure, we didn't have a, we want to consider us in conversation.
to the CAA.
This sort of came about as one of the council meeting. There was a presentation from the Prescott Family Health Team, and then I would say early fall on the year. That request came forward. Two of the three municipal health agencies thought that support. That particular time. it was more looked at as a more of a one-time item over with it going back again. I looked at the same schedule. Community grants and donations.
Yeah, I got the impression at first when it's because they're not within the borders of our county, if you can't do something separately, you don't think that's all.
It's probably a bit of a stretch. Community grants and donations.
Yeah, this is pretty simple. I mean, we're receiving a request letter and we're referring it on to the 2024 community grants and donations program. I think it's pretty simple, right? The one thing that you just said that makes me want to talk more about it, which is the way these things always go. But it's 2 out of 3 supported, so we. And I think that that's probably what's going to hinge my support again this time on an initiative as we move forward. So when it comes to community grants and donations, I think it should be 3 that move it forward. Otherwise, I'm probably not going to be in favor. But I don't know how we get that information in front of us in advance of community grants and donations. Right. So that would be my comment to staff is to potentially find a way to see if where we're going to be with that ask pre that meeting possible.
As you may have that it can probably come to the stage that we want to do this on these statements.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure they're
Maybe job.
yeah. Okay, yeah, because there's certainly a ton of need out there for our community grants and donations. I think if I read it correctly, we're already oversubscribed for that in advance, right? We're already over $15,000 now.
For
In 2023, yeah, right. So I would anticipate that needs to be prepared this year, right? So potentially. So who knows where that goes. So okay, enough talk. Squirrel on there. Sorry. Okay, simple request letter, community grants and donations program. Further discussion. No, all in favor? Excuse me. Councilor Stan, I believe you have correspondence. We bring that item forward.
I do, your worship, move by myself and seconded by Councillor Chris Ward, that the municipal council received the correspondence listing from the following dates that previously circulated: November 29th, 2023, December 7th, 2023.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions, comments, anything they want to point out that was received with correspondence?
Yes, it was good to see we had good drinking water test results together. Just good to see that. Absolutely, we're doing our due diligence of the membership. So
Speak for our crew and we deputy license down for GQMS. There's one thing that we are certain of is the job that the folks do with our water. They take them shortcuts and it's always fantastic. So,
One point at that TerraCycle thing, did you read that? That is super interesting. The people are saving their cigarette butts. Our Canadian companies are actually saving their butts and ashes and sending them to the US.
I gotta be honest.
They want you to save the bucks from the ash, all the cigarette waste, pack it up, they'll give you the printing slip and you send it, I think it's New Jersey, Nebraska, somewhere. Amazing that someone can make a living out of another country's.
well, I didn't realize
There's
there's a lot of pollutants that you want to do, right? Just the cigarette butts that get roads, are on the roads and commercials.
Okay. So we are receiving correspondence listings for the following dates: 29th of November, 7th of December. Further discussion? Hearing none, then I'll call the question. All in favor of receiving correspondence? We're on to this number 11A, which is to amend the official plan bylaw. 2019-81 amendment number 2, and Deputy Mayor Bill Bly, will you have that
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself and seconded by Chris Ward that the mover be granted leave to introduce bylaw for adoption bylaw for amendment number 2 to the official plan of the township of Riversburg Tournament shall constitute the first and second reading thereof.
Right, first and second reading. Does anyone have any comments before I call the question on first and second reading?
Yeah, I guess I have comments. I'm still not sure, what what the decision looks like, I guess, from a hydrogeological assessment. You know, it sounds like we're saying it may be required, the PPS says it's required. But I know if we're changing, are we changing that somewhat with interpretation? And if so, do we have some sort of a guiding principle for staff to decide with? I'm just not clear on that.
Looking to staff.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As was discussed at the, I believe it was the December 4th meeting with respect to the implementation policy, we would have something back to be within that 9-day period to outline that and provide better direction. But we can see that as we're this should go forward. Take that to the timeline.
So that's what that makes sense. Good to hear.
I think I can throw my 2 cents as well to that. I know we've certainly had a lot of discussions about the interpretation of the provincial policy statement and how others can do under 1 acre without a hydro-G study. And there are others that do it. And I think that we further need to create that implementation strategy that shows that we go in with planning that either can or can't do it. And then it will satisfy everyone in all of them. Okay, yeah. So this just gets us the ball moving.
Yeah, this isn't
Puts pressure on us to get that strategy. Okay. Yeah, so talking about kicking. Okay, so first, it is first and second reading, right? So I'm gonna call the question then on first and second reading. All in favor? That was unanimous, correct? Okay, and proceed to third reading.
Moved by myself and seconded by Chris Ward the bylaw for adoption bylaw amendment number 2 to official plan of the Riversburg Tournament. Now, read the third and final time, finally pass, sign, seal, and number 2023-64.
Okay, third and final reading, further discussions or anything else anyone wants to say before I call the question? Nothing then, we'll call the question, all in favor? Okay, so B is to amend zoning bylaw 2022-37 for lot size and frontage. And so I think before I actually call for that one to come forward, so just for clarity, I'm just going to look to the clerk for clarity on this one. The last one, our official plan, is any amendments made to our official plan. The county is our governing body, and they have the approval authority to approve any amendments that we move forward, correct? So the process following what we just did is that decision will get submitted to the county, and the county will come back with comment on that submission. Okay. And what so we're moving into amending zoning bylaw, and we have the ability to set up our own zoning bylaws. Correct. We don't need United County's approval to do that. Okay. I just want to be clear on the differences between those two things. So now I will bring forward
Timetable on the official plan. It goes off tomorrow, I guess, to the United Counties.
Chair, that's correct, also the bylaws.
And what do you think? Does anybody know 3060? Well, I'm calling Thursday and we have to ask.
Okay, you asked that question first.
Yeah. Yeah. I will. Oh, thank you. I can even hand deliver it to mommy.
Thanks. With a smile.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's me.
Appreciate it. Any questions? Thank you.
All right, we're on to 11B, which is the always greater than your life. I love that. 11B, which is amend zoning bylaw 2022-37, which is lot size and frontage, and deputy mayor, you have that item as well.
The move would be granted at 18, moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Chris Wood, that the move would be granted at 18, introduce the bylaw, zoning bylaw 2022-37. A general amendment to reduce the lot area minimum, and lot frontage minimum. And this shall constitute the first and second reading thereof.
Okay, all right, first and second reading, amending our zoning bylaws, same, very similar discussion as to the last discussion. Look to the table for discussion or comments on first and second. To be here. All right, we're going to see none, that I'm going to call the question, all in favor? Okay, unanimous. And
Moved by myself and seconded by Mr. Smell that the bylaw to amend the zoning bylaw 2022-37 general amendment to reduce the lot area minimum and lot frontage minimum be now read a third and final time and finally passed and signed and sealed the fifth number 2023-65.
I sense there's a measure of excitement. All right, third reading, are there comments from the? All right, hearing and seeing none, then I will call the question, all in favor? And that is unanimous again. So MOU with eCameo Dual Power for EV Charge on Ontario program. Councillor Ward, I believe you have that.
I do, moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Watts Snail, that the mover be granted leave to introduce a bylaw to enter into a memorandum of understanding with eCameo Incorporated for possible future EV charging stations, and then to constitute the first and second reading thereof.
Right, so, this is to introduce the bylaw, then introduce, or to enter into the memorandum of understanding with, eCameo for the possibility of the EV charging stations. This is first and second reading. Are there comments, on first and second reading?
Please go.
Great. So on first and second reading. I'm gonna just look to staff just for first guidance of tape. Not asking for advice, I'm just asking for procedural guidance or procedural knowledge, right? So at the table to proceed to third and final reading, I just want to make sure I'm correct. How does something proceed to third and final reading?
We should proceed to third and final reading. First and second reading needs unanimous support. If you don't receive unanimous support, it's delayed until the next regular council.
Right, and so if someone was to vote against something in first and second reading, it delays it until the next council meeting, right? And so you can still vote against the item on third reading, right? Without unduly delaying.
The chair then is correct. Given the time frame this is completed, if it's delayed until the next regular council meeting, it was June 29th. Dual Powers Commission needs to be submitted by January 31st, which requires a very, very tight timeline, and they need to gather all of the additional information we are preparing.
Yeah.
In order for them to actually submit it and a 2-day time.
Not doable. And so we're talking about, competitive process across the province, meaning many things like this. Moving forward, it's a very competitive process for us to even have a chance for this. We need to make sure that these applications get filed and put away as quickly and as efficiently, as possible, right? So delay is something that we really don't want. So, first and second, right? Okay. So I'm going to call the question. There's comments on yes. All right, so I'm going to call the question and then first and second reading. All in favor? Okay, so we can proceed to third reading.
Moved by myself and seconded by Councilor Waddy Snail, that a bylaw to enter into a memorandum of understanding with eCanada Incorporated for possible future EV charging stations be now read a third and final time and finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 2023-67.
So third and final reading, are there comments or questions on the MOU for moving forward? Anyone, comments, questions? Good. Okay. Then I'm going to call a question. All in favor? All right, so moving on then to item number 12, which is the CAO's administrative update. Oh yeah, sorry, my bad. I'm gonna ask Deputy Mayor to bring forward. Discuss something that's not on. Yes, sorry.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll move on myself a second by Mr. Smell that this fellow council sees the CEO administration report as presented.
CAO, you bring your report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The report is a little shorter than normal. We had a 2-week turnaround. So just of note, the senior management team completed the Canada Core Public Infrastructure Survey for 2022. And this is 2022. We received that in the fall of the following year for completion. So it takes place every 2 years. With respect to the office, there will be an office team lunch this Thursday. So the office will be closed from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. We'll get that information there on social media and we will post it at the time. With respect to the affordable housing information session, so there were about 50 people in attendance and sort of maxed out at the 50. And so the 3 municipalities presented the answers to the questions with respect to additional residential units and private homes. The event was coordinated through United Canada Days of Rental. And I think with the interest in that first session, that there'll probably be another session scheduled in probably February timeframe. There was already about 15, 20 individuals that were interested in learning work. I think overall it's a successful event. With respect to a couple of zoning bylaw amendments, with respect to Red Road and County Road 2, just with the timing on the meeting schedule at the end of the year and receiving those applications. Typically, we would go to the committee of the whole, community development to set the meeting date. Just to meet those timelines, we have to set the date for January 29th. And we'll have a preliminary report at the new operations on January 8th, and then the public meeting, and then the final report will go back to the committee of the whole community development before it reaches council at the end of February. It's just a little bit off the timing, but just the way that the application is. Just a note that the next available meeting we will provide 1 year extension request for maintenance. Under the treasury, you want to lift station. So that project did get completed. It was under the total project offset limit, although it certainly we have 106,000 over the anticipated amount, and the anticipated amount was in the spring, early summer portion of 2022, when that estimate was provided. So some costs did occur with respect to some material costs tripled in value. Drawings did not match field conditions, and due to the short downtime, certainly the contractors would have to scale rose to 234,200. With respect to facilities and recreation, skate with Santa scheduled for the meeting on Saturday, December 15th, 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And at the Central Arena on December 17th from 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. And also listed is the holiday skating schedule. With respect to public works, curbside collection. So waste and recycling will not be collected on December 25th or January 1st, but those routes will be collected with Tuesday routes on December 26th. With the holiday tree pickup, as the residents in Cardinal, Mount Spencerville, the trees out by January 2nd, and between that time frame of the 2nd and 12th, we will have staff moving around to collect those, and know that the trees are charged in month. With respect to environmental services, the TPU processor upgrades were completed with the wastewater treatment plant, Cardinal water treatment plant. The fire department, with respect to fire prevention, there will be some Christmas social media campaign that is in development, and the fire safety card will be provided for merchants for distribution. And with respect to emergency management, the program being met on December 4th, reviewed the program for 2023, and the staff is in the process of completing that submission prior to December 31st. With that, Mr. Mayor, I'll turn it back to you, and is there any follow-up questions?
Thank you, Mr. Steele. Even in very short time span, you saw lots of years. All right, we're going to answer some questions to the right.
Oh, by the way, actually, I was going to say, this was a short report. I think it's as well. As far as the affordable housing, the summer, actually the information session goes, is it fair to say that if anybody has questions before the city, that still reach out to United Community staff?
Through the mayor, any specific for engagement, we certainly reach out to staff. Answer those questions. We just, I think, we want to sort of coordinate with the three municipalities and kind of stand up from all the municipalities there in one.
Okay. As far as the RWS that's upgraded, so we had budgeted $780,000. You have said of it, is that what it is? You can have it.
So through the mayor, we had entered into an agreement with Greenville, to the original agreement with Greenfield. And the estimated cost was 650,000, but we did have to an offset limit of 700,000. Our portion will come from the pumping station funds, which is in essence funded by. So
But
yeah,
it was within the.
it was within that offset limit.
And I think this was hopefully just a circle question. Anyways, the waste recycling in 25th of January 1st, that's already in the capital for, they got that on the-
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And last but not least, I see Tanker Look, that's the new one, I'm assuming. Do I got it first and work? Is that put us at a capacity problem or do we have contingency or is it manageable? For servicing for overweights and I think we get that.
For the mayor, it is manageable through operations and.
To the mayor, to the recreation director. Congratulations on getting Sam and John to escape. He's super busy this time of year in his sector. That's quite a treat. Thank you very much.
That's awesome. Did you have any?
Yes.
Yeah, you're last. Well, you're second.
Through the chair to the CEO, our treatment plant is CPU. That's our capital project. I see that was the one that Snyder we had last year in the budget 2024 budget. Is that right? At the wastewater and at the Cardinal Water Plant.
Yeah,
We're doing some electrical.
The switches, yes.
Right.
So if you, it's we upgraded the switches that feed to the fiber optics for communication purposes between two.
Right. And the other last but not least, yes, and I'll be there for Samantha and there's lots of free rice. And our office is closed on December 22nd at noon, is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Can you? I'm just, we may have to have a next meeting. Or is it the 22nd or 21st?
Jerry proposal this stage the Thursday, I think it was the Thursday.
Which is the 21st? Okay, that's all I was concerned.
In the air.
Right, okay, and I was concerned if it's on the same, we wouldn't be around, nobody would be around. That's all I'm concerned was.
Not closed until end of business day on Friday. Correct?
No, noon.
Noon, oh, because there's the.
So
I'm just concerned.
so it's closed June.
December 22nd. That's it, thank you.
We work harder.
During your time off. That's what we were. We were. Thank you very much. Enjoy your time.
Okay, so my question is, and it's something that I struggle to understand at times. And when I saw waste and recycling, it made me think of the blue box, issue of the blue box program. That changed that to and I haven't seen, I don't remember seeing an update on that project. Do we have someone coming forward for that? Sorry, it's a bit of a stretch to get through from the report, but it just dropped out of my mind.
We will have.
processes.
No, there's a,
We're due to transition in February. There's final, we are final.
Yeah, because there's,
Transition.
I know colleagues at the county, state, and maybe deputies, their Thursday for me, and, you know, there seems to be a bit of concern among the group, you know, moving next year, so.
I think the mayor, I think it's fair, not going to be able to do this. Process. Go there.
Okay. All right, so, and I think, you know, like for the group, I don't know if as a group we've actually had, you know, I'm thinking in my brain, this is we had a discussion on that. Yeah, so.
There has, but I think we need to provide.
Yeah, thank you for that. Okay, so call the question then, if nobody else has any more questions on the CAO's report. Anyone? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, I'm gonna call the question. All in favor? Easy. All right, mayor's report, very brief. Oh yeah, right forward. Oh, councillor inquiries and those. Sorry, my bad. Does anyone have a councillor inquiry or a notice of motion?
I just had an inquiry, with the chair to the CEO. Is our fire chief sick or off on leave or? I just haven't seen my names at meetings.
The time of some of the training that's on Monday nights.
Oh, okay.
For what's up, for what's on with respect to fire department. Any questions will go. Then I'll take a couple days of staples in the last week. Remember, but that's.
Are there any further inquiries or motions? Okay, hearing none, then I will move on to the mayor's report. The mayor's law.
Sure, can move by myself a second by councillor. Yeah, it's okay. Let's go down to the seats and you're gonna corner.
Great, short and sweet. All right, so I'm gonna just say it again. I know there's been a challenge. The challenge has been accepted by our staff from Prescott and Augusta to collect items for much needed items for our local food banks. When does that end?
So,
Through the chair, we have the official deadline of this Thursday, actually. The 14th of January, and then after that.
So if anyone is going to donate, you're bringing stuff in, the deadline date for us to collect, you can always donate to the food bank, but for the challenge against the other three, or the other two, excuse me, municipalities, both Prescott and Augusta, ends on this Thursday. So if we're going to do that, in all spirit, let's help support and try to get some stuff to help avoid those numbers up just a little bit. Okay. Sure.
Are there something cash on that also? Cash for the challenge?
Through the chair, if not, if you wish to use financial to the bank, definitely, if you want to do so, but internally, for security of the fund, we don't want that one through, as well as issuing funds.
That's all.
And it goes, total weight, right?
We should review it by item, but we're
Okay.
not sure.
Okay, good.
It's more just the sure.
yeah, should be the trail, there's no actual there.
Right.
Those that are.
Just for good fun.
As far as.
Although I did hear,
As far as.
I didn't hear a rumor, might be true. I still remember an event, so it's maybe getting more serious as the year. It's maybe getting more serious as the years go on. I anticipate next year is going to be. car, probably. Monica, yeah, Monica.
The Cooper,
All right, back to serious stuff. I just want to commend staff on something that we did at the last meeting, and I don't know if I said thank you for it at the time. And that was, how important, that the receiving the meeting schedule ahead for the entire year, is to someone like myself as, you know, a full-time, other than this job, you know, full-time elsewhere job, and it means a lot to have that end up in the pantry. And, you know, I know it requires a little bit of extra work to get that prepared a year in advance. I know there is some fluidity to some of those dates, and they can move if they need to, but it really helps somebody who is a working person prepare that and book that schedule for the entire year. So I don't know if I recognized it at the time. It was something that popped into my head today, and I just wanted to say thank you to staff for doing that. Earlier tonight, you said congratulations to Carrie Smale, Citizen of the Year, and to Katie Morrison, Youth Citizen of the Year. You know, fantastic work. They just represent a very small portion of a small army of people that continue to work hard and make their township what it is. So thanks to Carrie and Katie this year. Congratulations. Sad note, and I think I want to express heartfelt sympathy to former Mayor Pat Sato and the entire family on the passing of Shirley, Pat's wife, and make sure that everybody knows that there is a public celebration of life for Shirley at the Prescott Golf Club. And I believe, if I just want to make sure I have the date right, but I believe that it's December 18th from 3 until 6 p.m. Correct? Yeah. Okay. So I will ask everyone to keep Mayor Pat and the entire families on both sides, Shirley and Pat, keep them in your prayers and close to your heart, staff. And moving on to a happier note, there's not many staff here tonight to say thank you to, but thank you. And Merry Christmas and congratulations on, this group, needs a ton of guidance. It's been one of the first of our term, and it's been a learning experience for all of us. And I think, from a thank you standpoint and a Merry Christmas standpoint, we couldn't do any of the great work we do without support from all of you. So I wish you all, the best possible holiday season, and we'll see you in the new year. Unless, are you away till later? Maybe better. If I don't see you. But in all seriousness, thanks for your radio. Merry Christmas. And that's it. That's all. Questions, comments? No. All right. What's that? Then receive my report then. As presented. All in favor? Okay, and I believe that is it. There's no question period. We did have a member of the media. Did she leave any questions for us? She is glad. Let's do that. I think when she has questions. All right, so we are going to be moving into closed session. And I believe Councillor Smale, you have that.
Your worship, move by myself, seconded by Councilor Chris Ward. The municipal council proceeds in the closed session at 7:46 p.m. in order to address the question pertaining to section 2392C, proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of the land by the municipal or local board, specifically industrial land. B, section 2392B, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, specifically CAO. And C, section 2392B, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, specifically minutes of the closed session dated November 27th, 23.
Good. So this is the call the question to proceed into it. Once we proceed into, or once we go into closed session, we'll call a 5-minute break to clear the room, let everyone leave that needs to leave. Okay. So then, is there any discussion? Anybody? No issues? Okay, so then I'll call the question, all in favor of going into closed. Okay, so then we'll call a 5-minute recess. For 10. Okay, we are back in, okay, so, or we're not open yet. We have, who has the motion to come back? It's Councilor Smith, okay?
Yeah.
Councilor no.
Thank you, Your Worship. The move by myself, seconded by Chris Ward, counselor, that the closed meeting of municipal council is now adjourned. And open meeting does now resume at 9:48. No, sorry,
9:42.
42, sorry.
All right, so I'll call the vote on coming out of the closed session. All in favor? Quick. All right, so reporting out of closed session. Council met in closed session to discuss section 239(2)C, proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board, specifically industrial land. We didn't only look at one parcel, we were actually looking at 2 parcels. And we gave direction for in regard to both of those parcels. On item B, which is section 239(2)B, personnel matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal board or local board employees, specifically the CAO. We also gave direction. And lastly, we reviewed minutes of closed session dated November 27th. And I believe Councilor Martel has that item.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Wallace Snail, that the municipal council receives and approves the minutes of closed session dated November 27th, 2022.
Thank you. I will call the question on the minutes. All in favor? Good. And as Councilor Ward just told me, I forgot to mention that we discussed 16A, the 2 parts of 16A. Then we went to 16C and discussed the minutes. Then the CAO and the treasurer and deputy clerk all left the chambers. We took a 2-minute recess in chamber or in close. Those 3 people left the room, and then we continued on with 16B with only the clerk in taking the minutes for that discussion. So just so that it's very clear, the CAO, the treasurer, and the deputy clerk all left before 16B was discussed. Okay, so that should take care of reporting out. There is a confirmation bylaw, and Councilor Ward, I believe you have that.
Approved by myself, seconded by Councilor Whitesdale, that a bylaw to adopt, confirm, and ratify by resolution. Passed, signed, sealed, and 2023.
Very much. Then comments or questions on the confirmation bylaw? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? That will go. Number 19, which is adjournment and council.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Wallace Snail, the municipal council will now adjourn at 9:46 p.m.
On the motion, I'll call in favor, or I'll call the question, all in favor? Aye.